and Zoto were both trying to rekindle the fire. So Temba suggested that they go out for 2 romantic dinners each week. Zoto smiled, and Temba continued, "You go out Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I go out Fridays and Saturdays." Good evening, and welcome to Talk with Rams Live. It is the first day of the week, the day after the weekend, the day that always makes us think there is a long week ahead, which is why we bring you Motivation Mondays, because once you have drunk from the well of Dr. T, trust me, the rest of your week is a cruise. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for your patronage. We appreciate you, and please continue spreading the word for everybody to join us. Share, you gotta share this platform so that more people join us. So he is in the house. He's ready with his wealth of wisdom. We know you're hungry for him. We know you have your pen and paper. So let us welcome our resident development coach, international speaker, and acclaimed author of The Winning Mindset, Dr. T. Good evening.
Good evening, my brother. Good evening. How are you doing today?
I'm perfect, Dr. T. I'm perfect. Thank you. How are you?
I'm dark and lovely today.
Welcome to the club, Dr. T. At last, welcome to the club. I've been waiting for you to be dark and lovely for such a long time.
Finally, I'm there.
Finally, we've caught up. So let's revisit, Dr. T, the key determinants of success. Last week, we dealt with something exceptionally powerful: hunger. We gotta stay hungry.
Oh yes. The people that make it in this world, whether it's in business or it's in personal endeavors, are people who are hungry. You know, yes. We've got to stay hungry. We looked at the different concepts of hunger, that we need to stay hungry. We can't let hunger get to our heads, you know, and we can't get in the way of our hunger. And it's important to stay hungry and reinvent ourselves continuously if we are going to be sustainably successful. I think there's a difference between a one-time success and a sustainable success.
And when you spoke about hunger, Dr. T, you didn't mean corruption, where we are always eating.
No. It wasn't about corruption. It was about really just asserting yourself as someone who has capacity for more, who's got capacity for achievement. I think that drive, that innate drive, is very critical to the person that we become and to the success that we become.
I also remember, Dr. T, because I had to push you a bit about, you know, when you said we must stay hungry, I panicked a bit about whether we should also enjoy our successes. And you did say we must allow ourselves to enjoy the experience in the journey.
Oh, absolutely. It's very important, because now, yes, it's okay to be destination conscious, but we must allow ourselves the valuable experience of life in the context of the journey. So life is a collection of moments. Even as we're moving forward, we need to, celebrate those moments that we find ourselves in as we move towards our goal. I think Madiba also taught us that in a very big way.
I remember you quoting him last week, Dr. T. So let's get to tonight's session. Everybody's waiting, and we move to the second key determinant, which is what, Dr. T?
Self-esteem. Today, I'm really going to get a little bit deep into some of the science of it, but I think it's important. Self-esteem is the immune system of consciousness, you know, and I want us to really get into this key called self-esteem and just look at the science behind it. What is it? What are the pillars of self-esteem? And just look at how then we can boost our own self-esteem.
Wow. So, you know, when again, I always register things when you talk to me, Dr. T, when we prepare stuff, and you said self-esteem is one of those realities we cannot avoid in life. It is such an important thing. The importance of it, we can't look away from it.
Oh, absolutely. You know, we can shrug. We can shrug it off. We can evade it. We can declare that we're not interested in it. But believe me, self-esteem is a fundamental human need. In fact, its impact is automatic in your life. In fact, the word self-esteem, by the way, if I'm to define it, speaks of the concept of self-estimation. You know, we estimate everything about everything else. You know, we give an estimate of what this will cost. We give an estimate of what we think somebody will do, but we don't actually give an estimate of ourselves. So subconsciously, this self-esteem is literally an estimation of ourselves, if I can put it that way. But it works within us, with or without our knowledge, you know. And so it's very important to understand it, and to understand the role of self-esteem in your life. Every one of us has got it. The rich, the poor, the tall, the short. Every card-carrying member of the human race, as Dr. Mulapo says, has got to deal with self-esteem.
Wow. So there's no escape.
There is no escape. There is absolutely no escape.
So let's then talk. Sorry, Dr. T, continue.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right. No, I just wanted to say that our self-esteem is our birthright. You know, it's one thing that is a key part of us, whether we know it or we don't. It is very alive in us.
What is the core essence, though, of self-esteem, Dr. T? Is it that I should believe in myself? Is it to believe that I can make it? Is to believe that I'm worthy of happiness? What is the basic essence of this self-esteem?
Right. Awesome question, my brother. Self-esteem, I'm going to explain it in two specificities, right? The first one, it is our confidence in our ability to think, our confidence in our ability to cope with the basic challenges of life. And it is the confidence in our right to be successful and happy. That feeling of being worthy, of deserving, of entitled to assert our needs and our wants, to achieve our values, and to enjoy the fruits of our efforts. Now, that's you see, it's a holistic thing. It's not just you say, no, he's got a high self-esteem or a low self-esteem. No, the concept of self-esteem involves that full confidence we have within ourselves that we can be happy, we are deserving, you know, we can meet our goals. All of that pretty much speaks to the concept of self-esteem.
And of course, when we have a higher self-esteem, Dr. T, we tend to reap better rewards in life, don't we?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You see, the higher our self-esteem, right, the healthier, the higher it is, the more ambitious we tend to be. You know, and so even in terms of just what we hope to experience in life, emotionally, intellectually, creatively, spiritually. But on the other hand, the lower our self-esteem, the less we aspire to be, and the less we aspire to, and the less we are likely to achieve. So either parts tend, whichever path you choose, it tends to be self-reinforcing and self-perpetuating. The higher our self-esteem, the stronger our drive to express ourselves, reflecting the sense of richness within. But the lower our self-esteem, the more urgent the need to prove ourselves and to forget, the quality of life that we are meant to live. So whichever way it goes, that's how your life becomes.
And does that also impact relationships, Dr. T? When I have do I battle with relationship? I hold a lower self-esteem of myself.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Remember, the higher your self-esteem, right, the stronger your drive to express yourself. You know, the stronger the ability to be more open, to be honest, to be appropriate in your communication. In fact, the higher your self-esteem is actually the higher your sense of self-acceptance in a way. Then that gives you a very healthy position on which to then communicate, to be open, and to love. But the lower that sense of self-esteem is, guess what? Then the more toxic, our relationships become, the more disengaged our relationships become. In fact, the rate of your output is directly proportional to what you are feeling on the inside.
How does it work then, Dr. T, when I've got this high self-esteem, I truly believe in myself? Do I tend to feel at home with people who don't have the same self-esteem? Do I feel like I belong?
That's interesting. In fact, the levels of self-esteem are drawn to each other. So a healthy self-esteem is normally drawn to other people who've got healthy self-esteem. Low self-esteem are drawn to people with lower self-esteem. I remember, sometimes, when you coach and you talk to people, you'll find that, and we end up saying birds of the same feathers kind of flock together. Some people in relationships, they attract the worst of people, Like, I attract all the losers. I attract all the guys without a plan, or I attract the woman without the plan. Why do I do that? And, guess what? It's because perception is projection. What you see in yourself is definitely what you're going to look for out there. So the issue is not even the external choice that you make. No, the issue is the state, is your inner state of consciousness. How healthy is your esteem? High self-esteem individuals tend to be drawn to high self-esteem individuals. And low self-esteem individuals also tend to be drawn to low esteem individuals. It's very unlikely to find a passionate romance between intelligence and stupidity.
There's a book I read years ago, Dr. T, by Terry Hawkins, rather. It's called There Are Only Two Times in Life, Now and Too Late. And in one of the chapters, there's a chapter called The Pitmen. I think these are the guys you're talking about. So, see, the guys who are always with lowest self-esteem, they invite you to their level. They want you to come down to the same level where they are. They don't want you to live it up.
Absolutely. You see, it's because as much as fun loves company, misery also loves company. That's always the challenge. So you find that we tend to feel most comfortable or most at home with persons whose self-esteem level resembles our own. So they've got to that level. Yeah.
Okay, enough of a preamble now, Dr. T. Let's get to the heart of this thing. Let's talk about the principles then, the 6 pillars or practices that we need to build a higher self-esteem.
Okay, lovely. I think it's important for us to understand that there are, I'm going to talk about 6 pillars. I'm sure we can get them into our time, right? So one of the key pillars of self-esteem is the pillar or the practice of living consciously, right? And the question there, Rams, is why is consciousness so important? Well, because for all the species that possess it, consciousness is the basic tool of survival. It is the ability to be aware of the environment in some form, at some level, and to guide our actions accordingly. So that sense of consciousness, of being aware of your surroundings, it's very, very important, because without it, then we can't, we can't live mindfully. And and that leads to a diminished sense of self-efficacy and self-respect. So the moment you lose a sense of consciousness, you start to lose a sense of self, and that becomes a problem.
So, Dr. T, are you saying my mind is a tool of survival?
Oh, absolutely. Our mind is the basic tool of survival. And in fact, when we betray it, our self-esteem suffers. You see, for example, the simplest form of this betrayal, by the way, is seen in how we evade uncomfortable or unsettling facts around our lives. Let me give you some practical examples. For example, I would say, I know I'm not giving my job my best, but I don't want to think about that right now.
Ouch. I can see a lot of people watching us now going, ouch, ouch, ouch.
I know. Listen to this. I know my children suffer from having so little of me, and I know I'm causing them hurt and resentment. But one day, somehow, I will change. You see, there's a denial of the conscious fact. You know, what do you mean I drink too much? I can stop anytime I want. You see, things like that. I know I'm living beyond my means, but you see, so all of those are examples of a betrayal of consciousness. And when there's a betrayal of consciousness, it affects our self-esteem.
When I'm conscious about things, Dr. T, does that at least give me an urge to do something about it? Is that what you say?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Because you see, living consciously implies the respect of the facts of reality. And so this means acknowledging the facts of our inner world, right, as well as the outer world. You know,
but what happens, Dr. T? What happens if somebody says to me, but well, I have to accept who I am. You know, I'm a lazy guy, or I got a big tummy, or I like alcohol. You know, what happens to the concept of self-acceptance now in this case?
Right. Let's get into that because that's another pillar of self-esteem, right? So the concept or the practice of self-acceptance is very important, but I'm going to clarify that concept so that we don't hide behind, we say, this is who I am, then I kind of don't want to change. No, but remember, without self-acceptance, self-esteem is impossible. Here, I'm not talking about self-acceptance in the sense of saying, you know what, I'm lazy, that's what it is, forget it. You know, I'm not a dreamer, that's what it is, forget it. No, this is just the ability for you to be on your own side. In the most fundamental sense, you know, this refers to an orientation of self-value and self-commitment that comes from the fact that I am alive and I am conscious. You know, so now everybody needs to, needs to have that sense. We are born with it, and that is what really gives us the ability, to deal with the issues that we need to deal with, because we are able to accept the fact that this is who I am and this is where I am. So I choose to value myself. I choose to treat myself with respect. I choose to stand up for my right to exist. You know why? Because this primary act of self-affirmation is the base on which self-esteem develops. So, for example, if I'm more accepting of my body, then I know I can do something about my body. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, I hear you.
Like now I'm on a program, I'm on a gym program, I'm on a diet program, but that only came because I accepted the fact that this is who I am, this is what I am, so therefore I can change it. Because when I deny and disown my own body, guess what? Then I do nothing about it. So it's a sense of really taking responsibility in a way and accepting who you are so that you can sort it out. If I'm more accepting of my conflicts, then I can do something about them.
Somebody once said to me, Dr. T, that you will never have great self-esteem or belief in yourself if you do not have self-responsibility. Were they right?
Oh, absolutely. You see, because self-responsibility is critical, because it requires that I be willing to take responsibility for my actions and the attainment of my goals. So this means that I take responsibility for my life and my well-being. So self-responsibility is so essential to self-esteem, because it says I recognize myself, I recognize where my boundaries lie. Remember, the concept of boundaries runs. Boundaries define where your responsibility starts and your responsibility ends. That's why in our homes we've got boundaries, because then I know which lawn I must water. So right. So if I walk out of my house and I open my sprinkler and the sprinkler falls on the neighbor's lawn, the neighbor opens his door and says, "Oh, my lawn is green," and he goes back and watches more TV. But the moment I move the sprinkler from watering his lawn and I water mine, I am saying I am taking responsibility for this boundary. And that is what defines. So that sense of self-responsibility is important. Because then
So
I know. Yes,
I
yes,
must
yes.
then I must keep on taking responsibility for stuff. But Dr. T, I know, and I know I speak for almost everyone who's with us right away and everybody else out there. Sometimes we're going to turn around and say, but I'm not responsible for the weather. I'm not responsible for COVID. I'm not responsible for a bad spouse. Is that lying to ourselves?
That look, that's accepting what is outside of your scope. But there are a lot of things that you are responsible for. I'm responsible for the achievement of my desires. I'm responsible for my choices and actions. I'm responsible for my behavior with other people. There are some people that whatever, it just takes one drink and becomes a mess, fights with everybody and does this and that and that. Understand you are responsible for your behavior with other people, with your co-workers, your associates, your customers, your spouse, your children, your friends. You are responsible. I'm responsible for how I prioritize my time. So if I overcommit and I overbook, it's not because Joburg is a busy place. No, it's because I am failing to prioritize my time. I'm responsible for the quality of my communications. If I'm writing my emails with all exclamation marks and capital letters, it means I'm shouting at people. I'm responsible for that. It's not the computer's problem. It's not the keyboard. No, it is me. So I take responsibility. I'm responsible for my personal happiness, Rams. I'm responsible for accepting and choosing the values by which I live. I'm responsible for raising my own self-esteem.
Guys, on the part of communication, you are responsible for spelling lose with double O. It's spelled with one O. The other one is loose. Stop writing loose. But that's me. But communication is very important. I get very riled up when people make that mistake. And putting apostrophes for plurals. Apostrophe means ownership, not plural.
Right,
but
right.
This is Dr. T's time, not my time. It's just that you spoke about the quality of communication is very important.
It's very important.
You said to me, Dr. T, that you wanted to point out in this particular time section, when we spoke earlier, you said to me, you want to point out on two key questions we need to ask ourselves.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I think these questions are critical because they speak to the concept of responsibility. Rams, we can't overstate this because the state of the economy, the state of relationships, the state of personal dreams and goals all comes back to the question of responsibility. And so question one is, if I accepted responsibility for my own existence, what would that mean? So someone needs to complete that. So what would that mean for you if you accepted responsibility for your own existence? For someone, it would mean, you know what? I need to get back to school. I need to get a skill. I need to market my business. I just need to get off, hoping that the government will make things better. I need to take responsibility for my own life. Or the other question, the other side is, when I avoid responsibility for my own existence, finish that sentence. What does that mean for you? So these things cause us to really think, and because all of that speaks back to your self-esteem.
Folks, I think I should not have invited him tonight. He's too personal. He's messing us up now. Tonight is going to be tough for all of us. When he finishes here, we all have to go back and take responsibility. Assertiveness, Dr. T. Assertiveness, and how does that differ from esteem?
All right. So self-assertiveness, right? It means honoring my wants, my needs, my values, and seeking appropriate forms of their expression in reality. So now this is very important, Rams, because it doesn't mean belligerence or inappropriate aggressiveness. It doesn't mean pushing to the front of the line or knocking other people over. It doesn't mean upholding my own rights while being blind or indifferent to everyone else's right. It simply means the willingness to stand up for myself, to be who I am openly, to treat myself with respect in all human encounters. Remember, I said earlier that we are all card-carrying members of the human race, not of the ANC or of the DA, no, of the human race. I've got to treat myself with respect and treat others with respect. It means the refusal to fake my person to be liked. A lot of people like to play to the terraces, but if I'm a self-assertive person, I uphold the integrity of who I am. So self-assertiveness means the willingness to stand up for myself, to be who I am openly, and to treat myself with respect in all human encounters. Very, very important. And you see, a lot of challenges happen when people lack this quality of assertiveness.
So in simple English, Dr. T, the lack of assertiveness is a sign of low esteem.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Have you ever sat in a meeting, right, where someone just literally runs over everybody in the meeting, talks down at people and this and that, and there's something that you want to say, but you can't bring yourself to say it because already in terms of assertive, it's not even about the fact that you fear the other person. No, it's about the fact that you have looked at yourself and lowered yourself to a level where you can't even stand up for yourself. So a lack of self-assertiveness is a very clear sign of a low self-esteem. Because assertive people will insist on their voice being heard. And it doesn't mean being contradictory. It doesn't mean being aggressive. It doesn't mean fighting. It simply means that I can bring up my viewpoint without any fear of anything around me, So self-assertiveness is very healthy. It's healthy. No one should be looked down upon, because they are being assertive. It's very, very healthy. It means you can't push me over.
Wow. So in this part of what we're talking about, Dr. T, how do we link the issue of self-esteem to the issue of purpose, which is where we started some 8 weeks ago?
Absolutely, absolutely. Look, because living purposefully is very critical to our self-esteem. Because remember, to live purposefully is to use our powers for the attainment of the goals we have selected. So someone with a healthy self-esteem is able to live a very purposeful life. They can say, you know what, I've got a goal of studying. I'm going to go for it. The goal of raising a family, earning a living, starting a new business, bringing a new product into the marketplace, solving a problem, building a home, sustaining a happy, a romantic relationship. Remember, it is our goals that lead us forward and that call for the exercise of our faculties. And so to live without purpose is to live at the mercy of chance. Remember, the chance event, the chance phone call, the chance encounter. Why? Simply because we've got no standard by which we judge what is worth or not worth doing. So living purposefully, it gives us that protection where the outside forces cannot bounce us along like a cod floating on water without any initiative of our own. So our orientation of life must be proactive and not reactive. And proactivity is a function of purpose.
Are you saying to me, Dr. T, if we put the basic energy behind our purpose, ultimately in life we'll get productive? Is that what you say? Are you actually saying to me, most of us are not productive because we're not giving enough into our purpose?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And you see, it comes back to self-esteem. People who don't have purpose or who have a sense of lost purpose in life, who don't know where they are going, who don't understand what they are doing, one of the first things that goes is their self-estimation. The self-estimation becomes very, very low. Because to live purposefully is, among other things, to live productively, which is a necessity of making ourselves competent to life. So when I have purpose, guess what? I am productive. When I am productive, my self-esteem rises. And when my self-esteem rises, my self-exertion to my outside world becomes very, very solid. So we can set our goals, we can work for their achievement, we can bring knowledge, goods, and services into existence because our self-esteem is healthy. Why? Because we've got a sense of purpose.
our powerful 30 minutes of content are running out. So let's get to the last point, Dr. T.
Okay,
And
absolutely.
somebody was asking me the other day, why are people so corrupt? And my answer was because they lack integrity.
Oh, absolutely.
Does it count integrity in self-esteem?
Yes, absolutely. Because remember, as we mature and develop our own values and our own standards, the issue of personal integrity assumes increasing importance in our self-assessment, right? So remember, integrity is the integration of ideals, convictions, standards, beliefs, and behavior. So when our behavior is congruent with our professed values, when our ideals and practices match, we have integrity. And when we have integrity, guess what? Our self-esteem goes up because I know that I am able to say, to talk the walk, but also to walk the talk. That gives you a sense of a very healthy self-esteem. Now, people who say what they don't mean and who promise what they don't keep, a lot of times that sense of compromised integrity affects their self-estimation of themselves. And that is why, even in other people's eyes, they say, if so and so say they are coming at 2, they will show up at 4, if they show up at all. And so already, because you don't estimate yourself properly, other people now start misestimating yourself. But what was the bigger problem? It was a lack of integrity. So when we behave in ways that conflict with our judgment of what is appropriate, we lose faith in our own eyes before we even lose faith in everyone else's eyes.
So integrity and self belief are pieces of the same puzzle, Dr. T. They are congruent.
Oh, absolutely. Integrity means congruence. It means our words and our behavior match. I think that's what's most important. You can't say to people, I love you, I appreciate you, and yet you disrespect them. When you have a meeting with them, you don't show up and you don't even send a message to say, guys, I'm sorry, I can't make it. When you make promises, you don't keep them. All of those things actually cause you to lose faith first in your own eyes. And then that self-estimation, what you see in that mirror, that self-concept, then translates to how everybody else sees you.
Okay, folks, here's my suggestion. You must watch this chat again. I think it will sink in once you listen to it for the second time. So make time to listen to it, maybe tonight again, maybe tomorrow morning. But I think it was one of the most powerful, Dr. T. You always are powerful, but tonight's was, for me, one of the most powerful. I'm actually by the way, I never watch myself, Dr. T. When people watch content where I am in, I never watch. I think I look terrible on screen. But I'm going to watch tonight. Or at least I can switch off the screen and listen, because I really think I want to hear the thing that you said again and again and again. What are we doing next week?
Next week we are going deeper, my brother. We will be unlocking more keys. We'll be looking at the key of discipline, and what that means to our personal success. Discipline.
I regret asking you because they're not going to come. None of us are disciplined. I may even not come to next week because I'm disciplined. So I don't know if we're going to come back, but I hope we all do come back. Dr. T, always wonderful having you, and have a great evening.
No, thank you very much, my brother. I really appreciate these moments.
Thank you so much. Folks, thank you so much for your comments. The comments were very lit, Dr. T, all over Facebook and Instagram. Everybody says powerful talk. Dr. T on point, and of course, everybody agreeing with me on the ouch part. There were too many ouch parts tonight, but we need those ouches to wake us up from our slumber. Tomorrow is Opportunity Tuesday. We continue with our journey with the SA Innovation Summit. If you have not registered for this summit, you actually are not living a life of purpose. Let me tell you, if you run a business and you don't register for a summit that can change your business forever, you got a problem. And maybe to solve it, you may want to buy a book called The Winning Mindset. I'll connect you to the author one day when I meet him. So that's it. I shall see you tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. as usual, right here on Facebook. And Instagram and YouTube. I know you follow and like those pages. You do, don't you? From me, Rams Mabote, good night and God bless.